2 easy methods to revitalize old potting soil and save money while you're at it. If you've been gardening for any length of time, chances are you've stood there staring at a pile of old, tired potting soil and wondered, is this still useful, or should I just throw it away? At Rootshaven Grounds, I want you to know this. Old potting soil is rarely dead. In most cases, it's simply exhausted. And with a little care, you can bring it back to life and use it again with confidence. Potting soil doesn't magically expire after one season. What usually happens is that nutrients get depleted, organic matter breaks down, and beneficial life slows to a crawl. The good news is that reviving it is simple, affordable, and incredibly rewarding. In this article, I'll walk you through 2 easy, proven methods to revitalize old potting soil so it performs like new again. These are methods I personally rely on and recommend for both beginner and seasoned gardeners. Let's get straight into it. Understanding why potting soil loses its power. Before we revive old soil, it helps to understand what went wrong in the first place. Potting soil is a carefully balanced mix designed to hold moisture, drain well, and feed plants. Over time, plants pull nutrients from the soil. Watering washes minerals away, and organic materials like peat, compost, or cocoa coir slowly break down and compact. You know, old potting soil often looks totally fine on the surface, but underneath, it can really struggle to support healthy growth. Roots might actually suffocate because of poor aeration, beneficial microbes could be super scarce, and nutrients may be almost non-existent. Revitalizing soil means restoring structure, nutrition, and life. It's not just about making it look dark and fluffy again. And honestly, that's where these 2 methods come in. Okay, so method 1 is all about recharging old potting soil with organic matter. The first and honestly most reliable way to revive tired soil is by adding fresh organic material. This method focuses on rebuilding soil structure, and just as importantly, feeding the living ecosystem that plants really depend on. So, you'll want to start by loosening the old soil. Just dump it into a large container, a wheelbarrow, or even onto a tarp. Whatever works for you. Break up any compacted clumps with your hands or a garden fork. This step alone goes a long way to improve airflow and drainage, which are both essential for healthy roots. Next, introduce some fresh compost. Compost is honestly the heart of soil revival. It adds slow-release nutrients, improves moisture retention, and reintroduces those all-important beneficial microorganisms. For most home gardeners, adding about 1 part compost to 2 parts old potting soil works beautifully. The compost should be mature, dark, and crumbly, not fresh or foul-smelling. As you mix the compost in, you'll notice the soil becoming lighter and, honestly, just more alive. This isn't just a visual improvement. You're rebuilding a soil environment where roots can breathe and microbes can really thrive. To further enhance structure, you can add a small amount of aeration material such as coarse sand perlite or rice hulls if the soil feels heavy or dense. This step is especially important if the soil has been used for long periods in pots, where compaction is, pretty common. Finally, moisten the soil lightly and let it rest for a few days before planting. This resting period allows microbial life to wake up and begin breaking down organic matter, creating plant-available nutrients. By the time you use the soil, it will already be working for you. This method is ideal for gardeners who want a natural, sustainable approach. It builds long-term soil health and improves results season after season. Why does organic matter make such a big difference? At Rootshaven Grounds, I often say that soil is not just a growing medium, it's a living system. Organic matter fuels that system. Compost feeds bacteria and fungi, which in turn feed your plants. These microscopic helpers unlock nutrients, protect roots, and improve overall plant resilience. When you revitalize old potting soil with organic matter, you're not just fixing a short-term problem. You're investing in better plant growth, stronger root systems, and honestly, fewer issues down the line. This is one of those simple practices that separate struggling gardens from thriving ones. Method 2. Mineral and microbial boost for tired soil. The second method focuses on restoring nutrients and beneficial life more directly. This approach is perfect if your soil structure is still decent, but plants previously showed signs of nutrient deficiency, slow growth, or poor yields. Begin the same way by loosening the soil thoroughly. Once it's broken up, it's time to reintroduce minerals. Old potting soil is often stripped of essential elements like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and trace minerals. Adding a balanced organic fertilizer or soil amendment helps correct this imbalance. Choose gentle, slow-release inputs rather than harsh synthetic fertilizers. Worm castings, well-aged manure, bone meal, wood ash in small amounts, or rock dust can all play a role here. These materials feed plants gradually and support microbial life rather than shocking it. After replenishing minerals, focus on microbes. Beneficial bacteria and fungi are often missing in reused potting soil. You can reintroduce them by mixing in worm castings or applying compost tea. These microbial-rich inputs help convert nutrients into forms plants can absorb and improve root health significantly. Once mixed, lightly water the soil and allow it to sit for a few days to a week. During this time, microbial activity increases, and the soil begins stabilizing. When you plant into it, roots will encounter a more balanced, biologically active environment. This method is especially useful for container gardeners growing heavy feeders like tomatoes, peppers, or leafy greens that demand consistent nutrition. Signs your revitalized soil is ready to use can be pretty easy to spot once you know what to look for. Healthy soil has a certain feel and smell. It should be loose, crumbly, and just slightly moist, not soggy or, dusty. It should smell earthy, not sour or rotten, and when you squeeze it in your hand, it should hold together for a moment before falling apart. If your revitalized potting soil meets these conditions, it's ready to support new growth. Plants will establish faster, roots will spread more easily, and you'll notice stronger, greener growth early on. Let's talk about some common mistakes to avoid when reusing potting soil. One mistake many gardeners make is reusing soil without removing old roots. Always pick out dead roots and plant debris before revitalizing, because these leftovers can harbor pests or diseases and really slow down the recovery process. Another common issue is overloading soil with fertilizers. More is not better. Too many amendments can burn roots or disrupt microbial balance. Honestly, slow, steady improvement always wins in gardening. And finally, don't ignore drainage. Revived soil that stays waterlogged will still fail, no matter how nutrient-rich it is. Always make sure your containers have proper drainage holes and that your soil mix drains freely. So, why does revitalizing potting soil really matter? Well, it isn't just about saving money, though that's definitely a big bonus. It's about reducing waste, improving sustainability, and becoming a more observant, skillful gardener overall. Each time you revive soil, you learn more about what plants truly need and how nature works beneath the surface. Here at Rootshaven Grounds, my goal is to help you grow smarter, not harder. These two easy methods give you practical tools you can use year after year, whether you're gardening on a balcony, in a backyard, or even in a full-scale food garden. Here are my final thoughts from Rootshaven Grounds. Old potting soil is not a problem, it's an opportunity. With organic matter or a mineral and microbial boost, you can transform tired soil into a productive growing medium once again. These methods are simple, effective, and really accessible to gardeners at every level. If you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to the Rootshaven Grounds YouTube channel for more practical, real-world gardening wisdom. And hey, share this article with a fellow gardener who's ready to stop wasting soil and start growing smarter. Together, let's turn overlooked soil into thriving gardens, one container at a time.